We're here in beautiful Miami, Florida, where for the next 3 days, we are gonna learn from Patrick Bet David himself, the one man who is taking back control of mass media and trying to change the world by influencing people to live more freely and keep families together and try to beat the mainstream media at their own game, which I'm fully supportive of. And I wanna take you behind the scenes and show you what it's like to attend the Vault Conference 2023. Let's go.
Some of you may say, well, screw Patrick, totally get it. We're very happy to give you a refund. I'll even go home and we'll double the ticket you paid for. We've done that in the past. But some of you guys are here because you're saying this is exactly the freaking message I need to hear at this phase of my life. Now let's roll. But this year that I'm talking about, guys, when it switches like this, people are going to look at your eyes and they're going to say, what happened to you? I can't run for office here. I wasn't born here. I would have taken a complete different route. The only other way I can contribute is to be a kingmaker. So I'm gonna help build a lot of kings. This is an element of us building kings. That fires me up. I wake up every single morning on fire to do what I do. So this is my route. So if you know your next 1 to 3 move, you're an amateur. If you know 4 to 5, pro. If you know your next 6 to 10, master. If you know your next 11 to 15, now you're talking about grandmaster. Do you think when Elon Musk bought 10% of Twitter, he knew his next 15 moves? Of course he did. And he said, oh, I'm just being an investor. You know, just an investor. Well, we're thinking about putting Elon Musk on a board. No, I'm not interested in being a board. And then all of a sudden an announcement is made, which is what? Elon Musk makes an offer to buy the entire company. You see the world from this lens, he sees the world from this lens. And he knew his next 15 moves, hey, you were clueless, and he fooled you. That's the best part about the scale of business, right? So if you know your next 15 moves, oh my gosh, this thing gets a lot of fun.
Okay, so quick backstory. A few months ago, I actually got the pleasure of meeting Patrick Bet David at the UFC fights in Miami, back when Masvidal was fighting his last retirement fight. And that's the first time I actually got to shake hands with him in person. A few months after that, we actually started running ads for him and the Valuetainment team to fill out the Vault event. We actually sold over hundreds of tickets to this event, and now we're here live with me and my team walking right now after the first session to experience it live in person for ourselves and see the magic that we helped create with our agency adspend.com, because a lot of the people here, they bought tickets to this event from our ads that we helped Patrick and his team make, which he filmed and read script and word for word, by the way, which is pretty phenomenal. And so we just got done with the very first session of the day, and now we're gonna go walk, get some food, and talk about our top takeaways. There we go.
All right, guys, so we just finished the third breakout session of the day at the Vault Conference. The biggest and main takeaway that I wanted to leave with you guys was competing up. And it's something that I don't think we've really been doing, and it's really finding an enemy in our industry. A competitor would be a little bit better, more appropriate. It's finding a competitor in our industry to basically put a goalpost against and to smash that goalpost. So what I think makes sense is for us to stair step our way there and set specific goals on who the next people in the industry are gonna be.
What's going on, guys? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Charlie, Client Success Director at adspend.com. I'm here with the boys, day one of the Vault Conference. For me, being focused on client success and the customer journey, about how taking apart the customer journey and dissecting each individual touch point that you have with clients and customers and figuring out how can you improve each step incrementally to the point where you can improve the overall journey that your customer goes through and it's transformational for the clients for your business. And I really think that's my biggest takeaway that's going to enable us as an agency to provide the best experience possible for each and every client that works with us here at adspend.com.
I'm the creative director here at adspend.com. Super excited to share takeaways from day one. So my biggest takeaway is there's different levels of like what's going to get you motivated, right? So my specific notes on here is advancement, madness, individuality, and purpose, right? People think that you can actually have just one of these kind of be like your main control, your main lever, but it's like depending on what season you're at, right? It's like whatever lever you want to push to be able to motivate yourself to where you got to go. So it's not always going to be clear and cut on like, hey, you know, I am like purpose driven, because yeah, we're all purpose driven, but it's like, hey, if you like have to take care of business and do your thing and be more of like, you know, advancement driven or like focus on yourself and be individual driven, there's just these different levels of control that you can use to kind of get yourself to that next level no matter where you're at. So it's kind of cool just hearing from Patrick Bet-David, someone who's like at that high of a level, to hear, hey, it's not always that you're just going to be purpose driven. Like there's these other things that are going to help drive you. So use the fuel that you have available to get you to that next level.
Biggest takeaway from day one so far is definitely when you're selling the vision to your team. You know, Will Guidara said this when he was speaking, and by far, Will Guidara was one of the best speakers I've ever seen in my entire life, because Unreasonable Hospitality, if you haven't read that book, you need to fucking read it ASAP, all right? And excuse my language, but it's that important. Unreasonable Hospitality in the restaurant industry isn't just the restaurant industry, it's in any hospitality service-based business, which is what we are here at adspend.com. I always tell my team, we're not in the agency business that run ads. We're in the people management business, because when we manage people, we have to manage their emotions, their expectations. What he said on stage was so important, because back in the day, you just needed to have a leader tell you where the ship is going, right? Where are we heading? And that was good enough to get them to want to go, right? Nowadays, you can't just stop there. You also have to sell them on where you're going, why you're going there, and how they can help contribute to that ultimate vision and have a seat at the table to make decisions on how to get there. That way they feel a part of it. They feel invested into it. They feel emotionally connected to it. And for me, that was a huge takeaway, because I've been really good on the destination. I've been really good on the why, but what I haven't been doing enough of, what I want to do more of as a leader for our company, is have them make decisions to help us get there, to contribute to that ultimate vision. So that was my takeaway on top of a lot of things. But last but not least, we have the newest addition to adspend.com, Jeremiah, who is now the video production assistant for the company. He's the one behind the camera helping out Jesus with all of our content and our clients' content, and he's going to share his top takeaway with you right now.
Shoot, if I'm being brutally honest, my takeaway is this friggin' event was packed, and I'm tired, my feet hurt, my shoulders hurt. In all seriousness, I love the positivity. I love being around this energy and being around everyone, the entire team here, all the support. I'm super excited for the future, and can't wait. And I'll see y'all. Y'all won't see me, I'll be behind the camera, so.
All right, so one of the most important things you got to take into consideration when you're looking to build a superstar team, there was a quote that said, if you judge a fish by its ability, look at this shit. All right, so we just escaped a hurricane, okay? We all got soaked. I mean, look at Brian's back right here. This is life-threatening circumstances, but we're here for one reason, to level the fuck up. And that's exactly what we're getting out of the ball, guys. Let me tell you one of the biggest takeaways I personally took away that I'm gonna be implementing immediately, going to be a system for making decisions. Part of that system is a qualification process that you take each issue and decision through. The two main questions you wanna ask yourself are, number one, scale 1 to 10, what's the urgency of the issue or decision? And number two, what's the impact of the issue or decision? Based on those two things, you come to me, it's $1 million issue, it's a 10 out of 10. All right, let's go to the conference ring. You come to me, it's a $3,000 issue, 6 out of 10 receipt. Why don't you go talk to John and figure it out? If you need me, I'll be over here. That's how you make a system for making decisions. Bonsoir.
Just wrapped up the first day of the Vault Conference 2023. I am wiped, but I am also very energized at the same time. I know it sounds crazy, but it's because of all the top takeaways that me and my team had. And now we're about to head down back to the Airbnb and ultimately do the homework for the rest of the night to digest everything that we've learned and actually put it into action by auditing our identity so we can level up as individuals and ultimately level up the team together. But that's about it for day one. I will see you guys back tomorrow bright and early for day two. Peace.
That's not bad. I think we stayed until what, 1:30? Yeah, 1:30.
What's going on, guys? Charlie from Atspend. We are headed to the Diplomat for day 2 of the Vault Conference with Patrick Bet-David. Really big day today. We're going to see Tom Brady speak, and we're also going to get some more valuable content for us and the agency and all of our clients. So super excited. Let's go.
Principles of what we wanted to do as a company. It was called our I, we, never. We individually have to make commitments. We individually have to make commitments. Never. Here's what we'll never do X, Y, Z. We'll never stand for this. So we created our I, we, never. What this did is it created commitment amongst peers together, not to me. We're body, not like this. This is different than this.
For me personally, two of the questions that stuck out to me in terms of, learning more about yourself, because that was the whole purpose of this personal identity audit homework, was how do you think the world views you, and then how do you view yourself? And, for me, I think in my life, I definitely am super hard on myself with the things that I've gone through and everything that, I've been able to, really just push through and overachieve on. But I can definitely be hard on myself in that regard. So I think, it's always important to do some self-reflection and recognize how far you've come and the things that you've been able to get through. But at the same time, I think it's also important to stay humble and to continue to focus on working hard and putting your best foot forward each and every day. And then that'll, materialize in your work, your personal relationships, and all those around you.
My biggest thing is just clarity in general, right? When you can get clear about what it is that you're doing and where it is you're going, and ask yourself the hard questions, right? It makes everything a lot easier, because I think a lot of times you kind of know what to do, but until we write it down and say, hey, this is the plan of action of what needs to be done, these are the issues that keep on happening, this is how we can resolve those issues in the future, I think that's when we kind of make big breakthrough.
He's on
What are we doing, Brian?
We're about to go get some food. My parents picked us up some food. I'm excited for you guys to see what the food is. And we're gonna eat together as a family and kind of dissect the rest of the day. Last year my parents moved into this place. It's an older building, but their place is newly refurnished, newly remodeled. It's the first chance that they get to live on the beach, which was always a goal of my mom's, and helped them out a little bit with that last year when I distributed some bonuses to the team, and that's basically what I did. As I just gave them my bonus pretty much, and now they're getting to experience it, and we don't know if they'll stay. Maybe you guys can ask them. We'll see. I haven't really talked to them about that, but yeah. Regardless, though, we're gonna have some fun, have some family, and have some food. So yeah.
Curious, what's it been like seeing Brian build this whole company out, everything else?
I was scared at first because he was with Dean Graziosi, right? But it's like he's this brave thing that nothing's stopping him. He just wants to read every book in the world, and he wants to just learn and go.
Was there something that kicked it?
Probably in college, because that's when the separation happens. I know them when they're at home and when they're in high school, but then once they go to college, they get another influence. And I'm like, okay, please don't lose, first of all, God, because everybody needs to know there's a higher power, right? Because I see a lot of entrepreneurs who just get too big and then they don't give thanks, right? But in college, I think that's when I noticed a big difference from what we grew up with when I saw him, but yeah. And I think that's when he met Nick, so they took a different path, and it's like very brave, courageous, And then Charlie, I'm like, boy, these guys are growing up. Very, very impressive businessman. I'm pleased with what they're doing, for the people too, for their clients.
Yeah, I just enjoyed a good lunch with the team and the family, and now we're gonna head back and get to see the GOAT, Tom Brady, and learn about the GOAT mindset, what it takes to win at all costs, but obviously not sacrificing everything. Because I think, you know, I'm interested to see what Patrick says about the marriage thing, because obviously what Tom just happened with the divorce and everything, that's tough. But we'll see what they say about that. I'm interested. So let's go. With the Admin Mastermind VSL. So if you guys...
Are you mic'd up right now?
I'm mic'd up right now, bro. We're rolling. He's working the vault right now. He's one of the best when it comes to event production and video and audio. So he helped us with ours, and he's gonna help us with our Admin Mastermind later this year. If you haven't got your tickets yet, you're gonna miss out. Tell him, Darren. Tell him.
Best of the best. Only the best of the best are together, and that's the people that are going to be at the Admin Mastermind. The best people in the planet that are looking to accelerate, up level, and meet more of the best people.
Let's go, baby. I'm excited for it, dude.
Basically maintain this level until your body completely deteriorates. Well, and I try to prove to everybody, guys, it doesn't have to be like that. You just got to make good choices every day, as good as possible. I still get people that go, how did you do it? I'm like, I wrote a freaking book. I literally wrote a book. Buy the book. I'm not to buy it for me, but buy it because it's good knowledge. You guys want to maximize the potential and opportunity you have in your business. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of consistent discipline. It doesn't mean that you can have one good month. It means that you got to do a lot more right than wrong. It means you have to be more disciplined than not disciplined. You got to challenge yourself, not challenge yourself less. So we're all faced with those decisions every day. You get the opportunity, just like I had the opportunity, to choose. What do you want? What are your goals? What are your priorities? What do you guys want to achieve? You guys are sitting here as entrepreneurs, CEOs, leaders, running business, running families. What's the choice you get to make every day to wake up and say, all right, this is where I'm going to focus my time and energy. How disciplined are you to maintain that routine over a period of time? And I think that will determine your level of success. And I'll say this, I never once in my life ever said I wanted to be the best of all time, ever. I wanted to be the best I could be. It didn't fucking matter what the other guys were doing. It didn't. Powerful. It mattered what I was doing. I had to look in the mirror every night. And I said, be proud of the man in the glass. Be proud of that man that wakes up every day and does the best he can do with his priorities. Life is about dealing with a lot of things that you didn't want to have happen in your life, whether it's your business or whether it's sports or whether it's personal or, children. And like I said, we all have our unique challenges, but do the best you can do. Show up every day and make the commitment to yourself, the people that count on you, the people that support you. And through a lot of failures, you're gonna learn a lot and you're gonna hopefully be humbled. Because sometimes, you give your best and it doesn't work. And I learned that in sports, and you learn it in life in different ways too. Sometimes you do what you do, you try your best, you work hard, but it just doesn't in the end go the way you want. So what are you gonna do, quit? Or are you gonna get your ass out of bed, wake up and go do something about it? Learn from it and make it better.
Got done listening to the GOAT, Tom Brady, share what it's like to have a GOAT mindset, and what he said to me was consistent discipline over everything, over long periods of time. And I wanted to have my beautiful wife, Jennifer Moncada, share her top takeaways after day 1 and day 2 with you.
Okay, my takeaways of this mastermind.
You want to hold it?
Oh yeah, of course. My takeaways of this mastermind has been have a base of values and principles to be able to build something. For us, it's like family. And with Tom Brady is more about like the disciplines. It's more about like, yeah, you can be very competition, like you can be very competitive with the rest and so on, but the competition is more with yourself than like seeing your, like with others. So that's my major takeaways.
And I think one thing that you were mentioning, right, that I think we want to clarify for all the viewers, right, like what does it mean family? Like what is that about it? Like what's so important about it? Like explain what family means to you. Like what's the reason behind family is the main thing for you?
Yeah, I think most is because like the family, it's the base. It's the base as the complement of a person. For example, for me, I had my family always surround myself. And I feel that when people lack on that, they lack in different aspects in their life. So when you have that complement, you have that like 100% group or surround yourself, and people telling you, you do it. Like, I'm mom, dad, I want to do this. I don't know. Go. Go. You want to travel? Go. Like that support, believe me, you're gonna go very far.
What's interesting too is because, you know, she grew up with an amazing, you know, really well connected family where she talks to her mom every single day. She always calls her mom calls her. I see it every day, and every day it's the same conversation but a different conversation. And like, you know, I call my parents, you know, once a week, and like that's a good thing to have her because she inspires me to be better. She inspires me to be the future, you know, husband and dad and father, right? And that's a good compliment. So what she was saying with the family, and the reason why that's so motivational for us both is because, you know, I see what she has in her family that maybe I didn't have myself growing up, and so ultimately what I want more than anything is to build that with her. And so thankfully together, being at the conference, right, I would encourage each and every one of you, if you're, you know, an entrepreneur, especially an agency owner, high ticket coach, course creator, and you're attending conferences, masterminds, events, bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, bring your future partner as much as you can. And you know, this is I think our second or third mastermind together, and every single time we just leave with a fire that's just so much more aligned than it ever was before. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back, work on our relationship. That was a big thing that I talked about earlier, that, you know, we shared in person on stage basically with Patrick and the rest of the event, the 3,000 people there, that we're gonna have to work on more to disconnect from business, work on our relationship, start dating again, and ultimately it starts right now with us. So good takeaways.
Yeah.
With the man, the myth, the legend, Andy Elliot. Andy, I wake up every single day and watch the one clip that went viral from you. A lot of clips went viral, but the one that I watched the most is the six-pack standard one. I just wanted to get your top takeaway from the first 2 days here so far.
Well, so number one, Patrick Bet David. I mean, obviously we have a coaching company, and a lot of people, they make just enough money. They stop training, they stop learning, and they stop. So we don't ever want to slow down. So we love the way that Patrick loves his wife. We love how he feels about God. He constantly is self-development, just savage, right? Which is what we are too. So every single day, I'm like, man, so who am I going to look up to, right? So Bradley is one of my guys that I run with. He's my brother. I run everywhere with him. My second is Patrick Bet David.
Let's go.
So what we do is that we come out here, we sit down, we shut our mouth, and we listen. And a lot of people, they start making money, but they don't keep self-developing. So eventually they're gonna plateau out and they're gonna stop. And why our company keeps scaling and growing is because the leaders, which we're in a world where people don't lead anymore, right? They ain't just enough money. And by the way, I love my company so much that if I'm not out learning, I mean, they're gonna stop learning one day because they're watching me. So as I've left the company, we got a lot of shit to do. The last 3 days, we've been sitting here, keeping our mouths shut, just listening, taking notes, writing stuff down. What's written will be retained. Our mind is like, oh, we're doing this right. Wait a minute. Man, maybe we're not treating these people as good as we can. And then plus, when I get taught, the greatest thing is to go into the classroom and then leave and apply it. So it's like, dude, man, I'm ready to go to war and go teach everything that I already know. But based on what he just said again, he's better than he was last year. So I'm like, dude, all right, now this has got to be my time to be better. When I come back next year, I mean, it's like, I remember the first year I was at the vault, it changed my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because it was so structured. The training isn't like motivation, mindset.
Just like the other conferences and masterminds.
It's like you're sitting down, you're literally filling in shit the whole time. And I was like, when I left, I went home, opened the book back up on my calendar, and I was like, dude, this shit's structured. I remembered everything I learned, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go apply this. I created my own training, my own belief, the way I think, applied what Patrick taught me, and then I grew my business. And every time we came back, I've done the same thing. So I learned from everybody, but in face to face with the eyes, I like to come here. I come here every year. and I just slow down. And Patrick, he's not a guy who's after people's money. I truly believe these events cost a lot of money. They don't make him a lot of money. He does it because it gives him an opportunity to get in front of his students that are doing big shit.
Yeah.
And anybody that comes in here that truly consciously listens will change their life. So the main takeaways that I have is that, number one, reinvent yourself every day, recreate yourself every day, not once a week, but every day. And then number two, just make sure that you build a team that's either going to allow you to exit one day or to become a profit cash cow. And I like the cash cow. I'm never going to sell out. Elliot for life.
Let's go.
I mean, I want my kids to be running our shit. So our company's not for sale. I want my guys' kids to be running our company.
Let's go. That's amazing.
So, you know, like, I want to create a culture in which we get to keep all the days of our lives and our kids get to keep.
Dude, appreciate you for sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
100%. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cheers to you.
Water, cheers. Let's go, man.
Lloyd. Cheers to you. Cheers to us. Cheers to where we're going. Amazing conference so far. Now let's enjoy some amazing food.
Here for a good time and a long time.
For a good time and a long time. Team together, everyone achieves more. You want to go fast? Go alone. If you want to go far,
go together.
There we go.
Hola mis amigos, hoy es sábado y el final día de la conferencia de la Vault. That was my little Spanish for you guys, but today's our final day at the Vault. We're super excited. We get to see Mike Tyson speak today. Had an amazing day yesterday with the team. Saw Tom Brady, saw Tom Ellisworth, and we're super excited to be able to be here for the final day. And after today, actually, we're heading over to a client's house to film some ads for her, and it's going to be one of the first times that we've been able to do that, so we're super excited to be able to deliver on that for her. Let's get it.
If you have all the leverage in the world, but you want to keep this relationship long term, do not abuse your leverage. In some meetings, you have leverage, and you have a lot of leverage. You can be an asshole if you wanted to. If you don't want to turn this relationship into an enemy, or if you want to find a way to do business with this person long term, do not abuse your leverage with anybody you're dealing with. Okay? There's a part of the interview yesterday when he talked about leading by example. And I said leadership is about what? Getting people to do things they typically wouldn't do on their own. So when you get back home, start testing your polking abilities. Test it with your kids, test it with your peers, look at everybody that you work with. Take the top 5 people right now that you talk to the most on your team. And maybe if you don't have 5 people that report to you, maybe you got your leader in an office and you got coworkers. Write the names of coworkers that see you as a leader. Next to them, write down which one you think they are. Is it madness? Is it advancement? Is it lifestyle? What is it? When you go back, testing, driving them based on where you think they are. Sometimes, you know, your imagination goes, right? And your imagination is like, man, I'd love to hurt this guy, do this to this guy. How do you bring that back in? How are you bringing that back in when you go to an ugly place in your mind?
Right. So I'm interested in attacking this guy, right? Whoever it may be. So, you know, when I was younger, it wasn't, you know, I only had responsibility for myself. Now I have my family, I have my grandkid, or what, I don't have them yet, but you know, I have too many people to be responsible for.
So back then, so you go straight to consequences. I have more to lose today than before.
100%.
Got it.
What is the filtering mechanism for all these people approaching? Because I got a lot of people that want to work with me, mentor me. How do you pick your mentor? That's my last question.
Your mentor picks you. Like when I met my mentor Customado, he said, I summoned you.
Mike's not an operator, right? Everyone's in this room because we're operators. This life and Tom's life, it's a very different life. His approach, at least this is what I would think, is purely to have the right filtering system. Because if you're not an operator, you don't really know what questions to ask. You need people who are great filters to say, this guy's not a good founder. That guy doesn't have a good team. These guys don't have a good product. Their MVP isn't good yet. Let's wait till we do this. Let's wait till we do that. It's a complete different mindset than the ones we have here.
Hey, Patrick?
Yes?
Can you ask Mike about the death of Tupac and how that affected him?
Where are you? Who's asking?
Here, right here.
Why don't you ask him?
Well,
it's coming up. Hang tight. He's coming up.
Oh man, I ain't crossing a lot of country. When you get older, you're like, you're pissing all the time. You gotta go to this place where this guy gotta put his thing up your ass. Man, I gotta go see that guy again.
Just wrapped up day 3 of the Vault Conference, and after an amazing weekend, we are finishing it off on the very last day before leaving tomorrow, going back to Arizona with one of our clients, Sarah Turner. She has an amazing business called Write Your Way to Freedom, where she helps everyday people, especially women, create a side income, business, or even a career out of learning how to write words that persuade, that inspire, that motivate, that sell, and write for brands that they love. And now we're here in her backyard. As you can see in beautiful Miami, Florida, the weather, the breeze is magnificent, and we're gonna film with her on set in person for the very first time in our relationship, and ultimately knock out a bunch of ads, lifestyle, B-roll, to be able to set herself up and ourselves up for the next 6 to 12 months with these marketing assets that we'll be creating today. So what better way to finish an amazing weekend than getting with one of your favorite clients and creating magic together. Let's go.
Imagine having writing so effective that Rihanna wants to work with you. That's what happened to my student, Shelly. She wanted to be a writer, but she didn't know how to make it happen. And through my program, she gained the confidence and the skills necessary to have people like Rihanna wanting to work with her.
Just wrapped up the final day of the Vault Conference. We did a whole entire team debrief. We're still in our admin attire, as you can see. We didn't take it off because we weren't done doing business. And after a long weekend, it just came back to one thing, my top takeaway. You ready for it? I know you waited for this moment the entire video. It came back to one thing, and that was holding ourselves to a higher standard and actually adopting the champion mindset first and foremost before we implement any of the tactical takeaways that are all inside, this 50+ page, book that has at least and is worth at least $100 million right here. This book, for the sake of the Vault Conference tickets, this book right here is at least worth $100 million. But guess what? None of that in that book, tactically, in terms of strategies, processes and systems, would ever make a difference for me or for my team if we didn't do what we did just now, which was reevaluate and realign on our principles, our standards, and our non-negotiables. What do we stand for, all right? What's the standard we have for ourselves every single day when we wake up? How high are we really striving? And ultimately, are we doing everything we can to get the most out of ourselves first and foremost before we try to implement any strategy or tactic? And so I know that sounds maybe like a lot of fluff and motivation, but the reality is, if you can't fix yourself first here to level up and hold yourself to a new standard and change, right? It's like what Jim Rohn said. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better, right? Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom, okay? And that's really true if you think about it. For things to change, you have to change. For things to change, we have to change. For us to get to 8 figures, we have to adopt an 8-figure mindset, and fuck 8 figures, we're trying to go for $100 million a year now at this point. And I know it sounds crazy maybe to some of you. I know it sounds unachievable, and the reality is, for you it might be. But for me, that's my new mindset. That's our new mindset. That's the new standard. And that wraps up an amazing weekend. We already bought our tickets for next year. We already got the tickets upgraded too, just like we upgraded the identity. So that wraps it up. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what your biggest takeaway was. And until next time, keep smiling, keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.